随便的，你说的，我都愿意去。小火车摆动的旋律，都可以是真的。你说的，我都会相信，因为我完全信任你。细腻的喜欢，毛毯般的厚重感，晒过太阳，熟悉的安全感。我们两只躺着一个碗，做心房，暖暖的好饱满。我想说，其实你很好，你自己却不知道，真心的对我好，不要求回报。爱一个人，希望他会更好，打从心里暖暖的，你比自己更重要。随便的，你说的，我都愿意去陪你。满足的旋律，都可以是真的。你说的，我都会相信，因为我完全信任你。你的喜欢，一手掌的厚实感，什么困难都觉得有希望。我跟着歌。你自然的就接下一段，我知道暖暖就在身旁。我想说，其实你很好，你自己却不知道，真心的对我好，不要求回报。爱一个人，希望他会更好，打从心里暖暖的，你比自己更重要。我想说，其实你很好，你自己却不知道，从来都很低调，自信心不高。爱一个人，希望他过更好，打从心里暖暖的，你比自己更重要。你不知道，真心的对我好，不要求回报。爱一个人，希望他会更好，打从心里暖暖的，你比自己更重要。我也希望变更好。
Hello guys, can you hear me now?
Yes, 老师。
Okay. Only 20 students here. Okay, let's wait another maybe 2 minutes for others to enter the room. And I have set a group notice in the WeChat group. So please take 1 minute to confirm the information about the final exam. The time is December 30th. We have talked about last week, and a time that is Beijing time PM from 2 to 4. So you have 1 week to prepare for the final exam, and you will have 2 hours to finish the exam, and you only have to send me the answer sheet with the answers for part 1 and part 2, and the procedure for other parts, and send the PDF files or pictures to my email. So you have to send your answer sheet to my email. and you will receive my auto reply if I have received your email, as you have sent homework and you have received my auto reply. So that is the arrangement for the final exam. And you have to prepare two maybe phones or one phone, one computer for the exam. And you should keep the camera open during the exam 2 hours until you submit your answer sheet to me. So please prepare one more phone or computer for the exam. Prepare that, and I will send you the the answer sheet for this test with some other examples listed on the paper, and you can choose some of them to practice for the exam. So do you have any other questions about the final exam, guys? Okay, no questions, right? Please remember the time. And if you don't attend the final exam, and you will not have the chance to attend the makeup exam. So please remember the time and prepare well for the final exam. Okay, and first, if you have finished this test, the questions here by yourself already, please text one in the WeChat group and let me know how many of you have finished it already. Okay, so please text one if you have finished the questions here already. Text one. In the WeChat group. Nobody? No one has finished this test. Last week we have explained 4 questions of part 1, right? Okay. Um, I think I have told you that this test, this sample is very important for you to prepare for the final exam. And I have sent the test maybe 2 weeks ago in the WeChat group. So I think there are plenty of time for you to finish this test. So I'm really sorry to see that no one has finished it yet. I think you should spend more time for the final exam. Okay, guys. So we will continue to explain the questions here. Part 1. And part 1, there we have explained 1, 2, 3, and 5, right? And about the question 5, I will explain again here for question 5 here. Question 5, we want to calculate the derivative of this function. This is a function. So here, as we have learned 2 types of this kind of function. The first type, the function that is from a constant a to x and ft dt. So if you want to calculate the derivative of this function, that is dy by dx. Here, first, you should find the integrand here and then change the letter t to x. So that will be f of x here. And another type that is a little bit more complicated, that is the function is from a to a function g of x. Here, g of x means a function of x. So maybe that is x squared or x by 2. They are all the functions of x. And here, f of t dt. So in this occasion, you should know that dy by dx equals, first step, you should find the integrand as well, and then change t to gx here. So that is f of g of x, right? And then we time gx prime. So we know the question number 5 that belongs to the second type, right? Here, the upper limit, that is square root of x, it is a function of x. So first step, find the integrand here, that is cosine t. Then change t to gx here. So gx, that is square root of x. So that means the first step, we change t to square root of x. And then we times gx prime. So here gx, that is square root of x. So square root of x prime means here x power 1 by 2. So that equals 1 by 2. And then we times x power minus 1 by 2. That means 1 by square root of x, right? So here we times 1 by 2 times square root of x. Or you can write it as cosine x by 2 times square root of x. So this is the solution, the result of the question number 5 here. So the last question here, that is number 4. Number 4. So anyone knows the result of the question number 4 here? Can you fill in this blank? What is that? Anyone knows? So here you should know the definition here. The question here seems a little bit complicated, but actually it is not. So first, pay attention to the condition here. That is, suppose e power x squared is an antiderivative of the function f of x. So you should know the definition of what is an antiderivative. From the definition, we know if capital F of x is an antiderivative of the function f of x, that means capital F of x prime equals f of x here. So from the condition here, we know that capital F of x in this question, that is e power x squared here. So that means e power x squared here prime equals f of x. That is we can find from the first sentence. And then we want to find indefinite integral f of x dx. So the second, you should know the definition of indefinite integral f of x dx equals, we know that is all the antiderivatives. So if you can find one antiderivative of f of x here, as here, we have supposed that is capital F of x, then plus c here. And we know capital F of x here, that is e power x squared, right? So we know that should be e power x squared plus c. So here the result, that is e power x squared plus c here. So this is the result of the question number 4. So any questions here? Can you understand or not? Why you are so silent today?
No, please repeat again.
Okay, okay. As if there is only me here. Okay, so number 4, I will explain it again. Number 4. Number 4, the key to solve this question is you should know two definitions here. The first definition, that is what is an antiderivative here. Antiderivative. And antiderivative means if capital F here, capital F, that is an antiderivative of the function f of x. That means capital F prime equals f of x. For example, we all know that x squared prime equals 2x, right? So we call x squared is an antiderivative of the function 2x. So that is the definition of antiderivative. So here, we suppose x power x squared is an antiderivative of the function f of x. That means capital F here is this function e power x squared. So can you understand this step?
Yes, Loshi.
Okay, this is the first step. And then we should know the question here. We want to calculate the indefinite integral f of x here. And from the definition, f of x means all the antiderivatives. So we have learned that 2x dx. You know that equals 2 times, x dx. So from the formula, we know that equals 2 times 1 by 2 x squared plus c, right? So that is x squared plus c. That is an antiderivative plus c, right? Because x squared, that is an antiderivative here. So here, we just have to find one antiderivative here, and then we plus c. That is the result we want. And from the definition, we have learned that e power x squared here, it is an antiderivative, right? So we just write, e power x squared, then plus c. That is the result.
Loshi, got it. Thank you, Loshi.
Other questions here? For part 1, 5 questions. Do you have any doubt? Okay, no. Okay, we will continue to part 2. And we will continue, we will explain one by one. The first one, the derivative of the following function does not equal to sine 2x. So actually, it is an calculation problem, right? You just calculate one by one. These 4 choices here, calculate one by one. Then to find the derivative of which function does not equal to sine 2x. And that is the choice we want. So we can start from the choice A here. Then minus 1 by 2 cosine 2x prime, right? That is A prime. And that equals here, we can take minus 1 by 2 out. And then we times cosine 2x prime. And cosine 2x here, you should know it is a composite function. So we have to use the chain rule here. That means we have to calculate the derivative from outside to inside. The outside, that is a function cosine, right? So here we know that is minus sine 2x. And then times inside that is 2x. So times 2. Then we can find minus means plus. And then 2 can be cancelled. So that equals to here minus yes. So that is sine 2x here, right? Can you understand, guys?
Yes, Laoshi.
Yes. Yes. Can you understand? Yes
Yes,
or not?
yes, Laoshi.
Okay. So here it is the first question, and the second here. Then we will skip the second choice to number 3 and number 4, C and D. So C and D, you can see here. Actually, they are the same as choice 1, choice A. Why? Do you know why? Here we write choice C, that is 1 minus 1 by 2. And choice D, that is 4 minus 1 by 2, right? A, here, the constant here before here, that is 0, right? So you will see that since the derivative of a constant equals to 0, so if we want to calculate the derivative of the choice C, that is 1 minus 1 by 2 cosine 2x prime, that will be 1 prime minus 1 by 2 cosine 2x prime. And 1 prime equals 0, so that equals minus 1 by 2 cosine 2x prime. So actually, it is the result of the choice A. Can you find that?
Loshi.
Yeah.
Answer is B, Loshi, I think.
Uh,
Answer is B, Loshi, B.
I firstly skip B. Now I'm explaining C here, choice C here. Choice C, I mean the choice C and D. Actually, they are the same, yeah, as the choice A. When we calculate the derivative of these three functions, actually they are the same. Right, guys? Can you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So no matter which constant I write here, actually, maybe I can write 2021 here instead of 1. Actually, they are the same, right? Because
Yes,
it is
Loshi.
a constant. So A, C, D have the same result. So we know the answer here should be the choice B, right? And then we will check. Then minus cosine 2x here prime equals, it is also a composite function. So we have to calculate from outside to inside here. Outside, that is cosine, so minus here, then minus sine 2x, and then times 2x prime here, right? So that should be 2 times sine 2x. And we want sine 2x, right? So we choose choice B here. Can you understand, guys? Any
Loshi.
questions?
No questions, Laoshi.
Okay, no questions. After class, I will send the answer sheet to the WeChat group as this type. Can you see now? That is more clear here.
Okay, Loshi.
Okay, so during the class, I want to show the procedure of every question. So I write on the Word file. And after class, I will send you the PDF file. And here, as you can see here, I have listed some related questions here. And of course, you don't have to finish all the questions here. As you can see, maybe there are maybe 10 or 15 questions here. You don't have to calculate one by one. Just choose some of them to check you can understand what the question means. Okay, guys?
Okay, Loshi.
Okay, so let's turn to next question. Okay, back to my Word file. And the second one, the following equation holds. Holds here means the result of the limit. Every choice, the result of the limit equals to the result here. That is the correct calculation, means holds. So here for the first one, choice A. So do you know how to calculate? You may figure out that A and C here limits they are as x approaches 0, and B and D the limit here that is as x approaches infinity, right? So A and C they are one type, and B and D they are another type. So A and C, do you know how to calculate it? How to calculate?
The
Yeah.
highest power. Highest power.
Uh-huh. Yeah, here maybe you may feel confused that we have learned to find the constant before the highest power, right? We have learned, but you should remember one thing. The way to solve the limit, you find the constant before the highest power that applied for B and D type. That means as x approaches infinity, then if you want to calculate function f of x by g of x, you can find the highest power if they have the same power as b here. They have the same power here. Then the limit equals to the constant before that highest power. So here you know the constant before the highest power, that is 1. And here that is also 1. So result that is 1 by 1 equals 1 here. So we know that the choice B is correct. B is correct. And we will calculate others. Here, D. You will find that the highest power, they are different. Here up, here, the highest power that is 3, and down here, the highest power that is 4. So you cannot tell me the result of the limit directly. We have to calculate it. So how to calculate this kind of limit as x approaches infinity? You should find the highest power, both up and down. So here you will find the highest power that is 4, right? So we have to divide x power 4 both up and down here. So here, that is, I will write here, as x approaches infinity, and that is here. Okay, let me write here. Here, that is x power 3 by x power 4 minus 3x power 2 by x power 4 plus 2x by x power 4 minus 1. Okay, the space here is limited. I will open my whiteboard 1 minute. Okay, I will write here for part 2. Question number 2, and the choice E here. choice D here. That is limit as x approaches infinity, power 3 minus. Okay, so first step, find the highest power here, that is x power 4, both up and down. And then we divide x power 4, both up and down. So here, that is x power 3 by x power 4 minus 3x power 2 by x power 4 plus 2x by x power 4 minus 1 by x power 4. And then x power 4 by x power 4 plus 2x squared by x power 4 minus 3x by x power 4 plus 1 by x power 4 here. So we will simplify this function, that is x approaches infinity here. The first, that is 1 by x, right? And minus 3 by x squared, then plus 2 by x power 3, then minus 1 by x power 4. And then here, down, x power 4 can be cancelled, so that is 1. And then plus 2 by x power 2 minus 3 by x power 3, then plus 1 by x power 4. So as x approaches infinity, you should know that 1 by x approaches 0, right? So we can see it part by part. That is, as x approaches infinity, first approaches 0, approaches 0, 0, 0, right? And here also 0, 0, 0. So the result should be 0 by 1. So equals 0 here. So the choice D, the result of the choice D should be 0, not 1 here. So it is the result for, that is why the choice D is not correct. So can you understand the choice D, how to calculate it?
Yes, Laoshi.
Yes,
Yeah. So you will find if the power down is higher than the power up, then the result should always be 0, right? So you can remember that. That is the choice D. And for the choice A and C, as x approaches 0, how to calculate this kind of limit? We can just substitute 0 into this function, right? So substitution rule is always the first choice for you. No matter when we calculate or calculate the integral or derivative. First, you can substitute 0 into the function that is 0, 0, 0, minus 1, right? Here, 0, 0, 0, 1. So the result should be minus 1 by 1. So 1 is not correct, should be minus 1 here. And here, the same way, we substitute 0 here. So 0, 0, 0, 1. And 0, 0, 0, minus 1. So the result here also minus 1 by 1 should be minus 1 here. So we choose B for question number 2. Can you understand, guys? Okay. So that is the question number 2. Now question number 3. So here, the question is about continuous point and discontinuity, right? So can you remember how to check if a point is a continuous point? That should be as x approaches the point, as here, that is 0, right? As x approaches 0, the limit of this function should be equal to f of 0 here. So if this equation holds, that means it is a continuous point. So you should know that as x approaches 0 here, as x approaches 0, f of x equals what? As x approaches 0, that means x does not equal to 0, right? So the function here should be sine x by x. So that means we want to calculate as x approaches 0, sine x by x here. And we know that is an important limit we have learned, and the result should be 1 here, right? But f of 0, if x equals 0, the function equals 2. So that means f of 0 equals 2 here. So as you can see, 1 does not equal to 2, right? So this point x equals 0 is not a continuous point. It is not correct. So can you understand, guys? Okay. So how to check which kind of discontinuity it belongs to? That means remember what is jump discontinuity, removable discontinuity, and easy discontinuity. Do you remember that? Okay, here we will first review these three kinds of discontinuity here.
Hey Tintin, how are you?
Okay, so here be my whiteboard here. We have learned mostly we want to check which kind of discontinuity it belongs to. And mostly there are three kinds of discontinuity we often meet. The first, that is removable. The second, that is jump. And the third, that is infinite discontinuity. And removable continuity and jump continuity, they both means the left-hand limit and the right-hand limit exists. So if you find the limit left or right hand limit exist, so that should be the first two type. And removable means left hand limit equals to right hand limit, but does not equal to the function, the value of the function at this point, maybe x0 here. So that means left hand limit equals right hand limit, but does not equal to the value of the function at this point. So we will know that from this question, as we have calculated just now, that as x approaches 0, the function should be sine x by x, right? So that is the limit, that is 1. But at the point 0, the function equals to 2. So you will find that although the limit exists, both left hand and right hand limit, but it does not equal to the value of the function at this point. So this point, that is a removable discontinuity. Removable discontinuity. So this is the first type. And the second type, jump discontinuity here means although left hand and right hand limit exists, but they are not equivalent. They don't equal to each other. So the second type here, jump discontinuity means left hand limit does not equal to right hand limit. Then we call it jump discontinuity. And then the last type, infinite. Infinite discontinuity means the limit of the function as x approaches the point x0, that is infinity. So here are the 3 kinds of discontinuity we often discuss. So the correct choice for this question, that is choice C. We choose choice C here. That is a removable continuity, a discontinuity. So we choose C here. Any questions here? Can you understand?
Yes, Laoshi, it's clear.
Okay. So let's turn to question number 4. Question number 4, from the question, it seems like I want to check if you have remembered the formulas for indefinite integral, right? But actually not. You will find I have gave you the 4 choices. They all about cotangent to x, right? So that is not the point I want to check, because here I have given you, actually, I have told you that cosecant x squared dx equals minus cotangent x plus c here. So here, actually, I want to check if you guys understand how to use substitution rule to calculate indefinite integral, right? So as this question, first, if you want to use the formula here, you should make these 2 places the same. So here x, here should be x. If here is 2x, that means here should be 2x, right? So we use substitution rule here to calculate it. You can first let t equals 2x here. And then dt equals d2x here. That means 2 times dx. And that means dx equals 1 by 2 dt, right? So this indefinite integral, I will write the symbol I here to stand for the indefinite integral. That should be here cosecant, here 2x, we write t squared, and then times dx, and dx that is 1 by 2 dt. And we can take the constant 1 by 2 out. So that is 1 by 2 cosine t squared dt. And from the formula here, it should be minus 1 by 2 cotangent x plus c. So here we come to the correct answer should be the choice D, right? We choose the last choice. Can you understand, guys?
Also y minus. Y minus 1 by 2.
Minus. Here, from the formula we have learned. Okay, I will show you here. Okay, of course, we can calculate the formulas here one by one. And here, from the formula number 9 here. Okay, you see that? Formula number 9, we have listed here the formula that should be minus cotangent x plus c here. And here we have a lot of ways to calculate it, as we have calculated formula number 8 during the class. So you can check the notes of that class to find how to calculate this formula, okay?
Okay, let's get it. Thank you.
So I use the formula directly. And as I have told you that I didn't actually want to check your formulas while, right? So here, number 4, we choose D here. Okay, so number 5. Number 5, the following calculation procedure, which one is not appropriate according to integration by parts? So you should know what is integration by parts actually, right? So we first review what is integration by parts. Okay, integration by parts, we have learned the formula that is u dv equals u times v minus we exchange the places of u and v, right? So that is v du here. So it is the formula for integration by parts to calculate indefinite integral here. So this question is indefinite integral. And the key point to solve integration by parts, that is to choose the function to be u and v, right? So I have gave you an order that shows how we choose u here. So the order here, can you remember that? The first that is arc, right? So maybe arc sine. I will write the function directly here to let you see more clear. Okay, so first that should be arc. The second one that should be ln. And the third that should be x. So here x here means maybe power 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next number 4 and number 5, they can be exchanged. Which one be number 4, which one be number 5, that are both okay. So you can write sine x, ex, or ex, sine x. Both are okay. So these two positions, they can be changeable, okay? So the first 3, you should remember that while. And for the question here, Okay, the question, the first one, we should check one by one here. The first one, you can see the integrand that is x cosine x, right? And from the order here, I will write again. These two can be changeable. And here you can see x, that is here, and cosine x here. So we should choose x as u, and sine x here, cosine x to be v here, right? So u should be x. If we choose u be x, you should know that cosine x dx should be d what? And this function is v here for the choice A, right? So we all know that d sine x equals cosine x dx, right? So we know that can be right as x d sine x. That is the correct procedure for integration by parts. So A is correct, right? And so now guys, can you tell me for the other three choices, which one is not correct? Do you know, choose which one? Is that so hard, guys? So do you know which
I
one?
think B should be also correct.
B also correct. Yeah. So here we can see x and e power x here, right? We will choose x be u and ex be v. Yeah, B is correct. And then C and D, which one is correct?
Lao sheet D.
Yeah, D is correct. Right. Why? D, you will see that ex cosine x. That is number 4 and number 5, right? So you choose which one. They are all correct. So here, I write cosine x ex. That is correct. And if I write that equals, I choose ex be u. Then D sine x. It is also correct. Okay, yeah. So, which one you choose U, that is okay. That is all correct. But for the choice C here, it is not correct. Why? We cannot choose cosine x be U. We should leave x be U, and then we take cosine x after D, the symbol D here, to be, so the correct should be x d sine x, right? At the choice A. And as you can see here, if you know that the choice A is correct, so obviously choice C is not correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we choose C here. C is not correct here. Can you understand, guys?
Yes, Laushi.
Okay. So now we come to number 6 here. So number 6, can you tell me which choice you choose here? Is it correct? Or I will give you 1 or 2 minutes to calculate number 4. Okay, number 4 and number 7, these two, and then tell me the correct choice here. I will give you some minutes here. And for these two questions, please give me the procedure in the WeChat group. Anyone finish the questions number 6 and 7? You can send your procedure in the WeChat group. Share it to me and I can check. So are you guys stuck in calculating this integral here? Okay, let's solve it together. For question number 6 here. Question number 6 here. I will write on the whiteboard here. Number 6. From -1 to 1. 1 plus sine x by 1 plus x squared dx. So the first, you should know that is the question from part 2. That is not a calculation problem, right? So don't think too much about this integral. And we should figure out the first thing, that the interval here is from -1 to 1, right? It's a symmetric interval here. So that leads us to think about the odd function and even function here. So maybe you will find the function sine x by 1 plus x squared. And if I let it be g of x, so you should check g of minus x here. And g of minus x here, that should be sine minus x. 1 plus minus x squared here. So that should be sine minus x equals minus sine x. We have learned before, right? So that should be minus sine x by 1 plus x squared here. So this part, except for the minus sign, that is gx, right? So that equals minus gx. And this means the function gx is an odd function. And the interval here is a symmetric interval. So that means the integral of this function equals to 0 here. So we know that should be from -1 to 1, 1 dx, and then plus from -1 to 1 sine x by 1 plus x squared dx. And this part equals to 0. So that means from -1 to 1, 1 dx. And remember how to calculate the most quickly. That should be 1 times the length of the interval. So that should be 2. So the result here should be 2 here. And we will choose we will choose the choice C here. So that is the answer for number 6. We choose C. It's an odd function. So remember the property for the odd function on a symmetric interval. That will simplify our calculation. So the last question for part 2. The last question, that is, we want to check at the point x equals 0, the function of absolute value of x. So about 2 properties of this function, continuity and differentiable, right? So the first, continuous. If it is a continuous function, you can check if the function is a continuous line here. So as we have draw the graph of this function many times, right? It is a function like this. This is the graph of absolute value of x. So you can see here, it is a continuous line. That means the function is continuous at every point. Of course, include the 0 point, right? So it is continuous. So we can B, D, they are not the correct choices. And A and C, we have to check if it is differentiable at the point 0. So if it differentiable function. The graph of a differentiable function should be smooth at every point. Smooth means here. It means smooth. But if you can see an angle or a sharp point that is not smooth, that means that is not differentiable. And from the definition of a function is differentiable, that means we should check the limit as x approaches 0 from the left hand. Fx minus f0 by x minus 0. Sorry, 0 here. Zero. So that equals as x approaches 0 from the left hand means x is smaller than 0, right? If x is smaller than 0, we know absolute value should be minus x, right? Minus 0 because f of 0 equals 0. And then here x minus 0. So minus x by x equals minus 1 here. And we can check from the right hand. As x approaches 0 from the right hand, the limit f of x minus f of 0 by x minus 0 should be, as x approaches 0 from the right hand, that means x is larger than 0, right? So if x is larger than 0, we know absolute value of x should be x as x larger than 0 minus x as x is smaller than 0. So here that is x minus 0 by x minus 0. So x can be cancelled. The limit is 1 here. So we can check 1 does not equal to minus 1. So that means the function is not differentiable at this point, but it is continuous. So we can choose C here. We can choose here. C here. It is continuous, but not differentiable. Not differentiable. So here is the result for question number 7. Any questions here? Any questions about the question number 7?
No, Lucy.
Okay, no questions. Okay, good. So we turn to part 3, calculation problems. And as you can see, this part, we have 49 marks. That is nearly half of the paper, right? So for this part, you have to write the procedure. And every step may have 8 marks. So you cannot skip any step to take the mark. Okay, so for the first one, for the first 2 questions, I will give you some minutes to finish the first 2, and then we will explain together. If you have finished, you can send your procedure in the WeChat group. And one more thing, for part 1 and part 2, if you can understand and you don't have any questions, please text one in the WeChat group and let me check how many of you can understand the first 2 parts, okay? Okay, now let's solve the first question. I'm really happy to see that the first two students, they use different ways to solve the first students. And both of them did correctly. So there are two ways to solve the first question, and you can choose one. For you, you can use more while. So for the first one, first way to solve it, then we can here we can multiply the same factor both up and down, and the factor that is square root of x plus 3 plus 2 here. So here square root of x plus 3 minus 2, and then we times square root of x plus 3 plus 2 here. So the first way, we multiply the same factor both up and down. And then that equals to, up, we cannot change it. So we just leave it here. And then square root of x plus 3 minus 2 times square root of x plus 3 plus 2 should be square root of x plus 3 squared minus 2 squared, right? So that equals x plus 3 minus 4. So that equals x minus 1 here. So we know here that is x minus 1. And here we again figure out they have the same factor x minus 1 here. So x minus 1 can be cancelled here. So that equals, as x approaches 1, square root of x plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 here. So here, pay attention. Don't forget to write the limit sign here. That is very important. If you just write the function here, that is not correct. You cannot use the substitution rule again. So don't forget the limit sign. And then we just substitute x equals 1 into this function. So that means square root of 4 plus 2. So that means 2 plus 2 equals 4 here. So here is the first way to solve this question. And here is another way to solve it. Cause we found if we first substitute x equals 1 into this function, here should be 1 minus 1 equals 0. And here should be 2 minus 2 equals 0, right? So it is a 0 by 0 type. So we know we can use L'Hopital's rule here. So if we use L'Hopital's rule here, we should remember to the second way, that is x approaches 1, we have to calculate the derivative of the two functions both up and down. So that means x minus 1 prime by square root of x plus 3 minus 2 prime here, right? So that equals as x approaches 1, so up should be 1, right? And here, this part, I will write here above here. A square root of x plus 3 minus 2 prime equals what? Equals square root of x plus 3 prime minus 2 prime, so minus 0 here, right? So that equals, we should calculate from outside to inside here. The outside, that is square root, so that is 1 by 2 times a square root of x plus 3, 1 by x, a square root of x plus 3, and then times x plus 3 prime means 1. So here that is 1 by 2 times 1 by square root of x plus 3 here. So we know that equals limit as x approaches 1, 2 times square root of x plus 3. So we can substitute 1 again here. So that should be 2 times 2 equals 4 here. So here are two ways to solve this question. The first way, we just multiply the same factor to make the denominator rational. The second way, we can use the L'Hopital's rule one time to make it to apply for substitution rule here. So you can choose one way to solve it. Both are okay. So here is the solution for the question number 1. Do you have any questions here?
No, Loshi.
Okay. Okay. So I found few of you send the procedure of question number 2, right? So I will give you more minutes for question number 2 and question number 3. Okay, so here you can use the break time to calculate question number 2 and question number 3. Or we will explain after the break. Okay, guys? So question number 2, just we want to calculate the derivative of the function. And question number 3, we want to calculate the limit. So please think about the ways we calculate the derivative and limit here. Okay, so let's have a break, 15 minutes break, guys.
Okay,
Okay,
Roshi.
老师。
Got it.
Okay, see you then.
All right, Loshi.
Okay, guys, have you finished question number 2 and number 3? I have seen some solution in the WeChat group, and most of you did correct. But maybe some students didn't send the solution of question number 3. So please be quick. And you have to solve the questions on this paper, test paper, one by one by yourself. And that is very important and helpful for you to pass the final exam. So guys, please solve it.
Laushi, is it question of final exam? Is it question of final exam?
The final exam, the paper of the final exam have the same pattern as this test, but of course not the same question, but very similar here.
Yeah, Laushi. Actually, we needed final exam question, Laushi.
Okay, that is so hard for me. Okay. So let's solve question number 2 here. And next week you will see the final exam questions. Okay. So number 2. Here we want to calculate dy by dx here. And dy by dx here means we have to calculate the derivative of this function part by part. So we can separate for 3 parts. The first, that is the second, then the third. Okay, so here you should know that ln 2 is a constant. So this part should be 0. You should remember that. And second here, actually I want to check 2 formulas for calculating the derivative of a function. So you should know that the first, I will write here below, u times v prime equals u prime v plus u v prime, right? So this part, or I can write as x squared e power x prime equals to x squared prime e power x plus x squared e power x prime. So the first part, that should be 2x, right, times e power x. And the second part, that should be x squared times e power x. So this part we have, this should be 2x times e power x plus x squared times e power x. So this is the first. And then second, we should calculate this part. And this part, we use the formula that is u by v prime. U by v prime equals, here that is v squared. And here that should be u prime v minus u v prime. So if we want to calculate sine x by x prime, that should be here. First, you can write x squared here. And then that should be sine x prime times x minus sine x times x prime, right? So that equals x squared, the same down here. And then sine x prime should be cosine x, right? So I will change the terms. So x times cosine x here. and then minus x prime equals 1. So we minus sine x here. So this is the second part. We can write it separately or together. So that is x cosine x minus sine x by x squared here. So here is the solution for question number 2. Here, remember ln 2 is a constant here. So that should be 0 after calculation after calculating the derivative. So it is the final result of the question number 2. Any questions here? So you should remember.
No, Laushi.
Okay, remember the formulas for calculating the derivatives. And if we have some time later, and we can practice more exercise related to it. So number 3 here. Number 3, that is to calculate the limit here, right? And we know as x approaches 0 here, x of course approaches 0. And here, that is e power 0 means 1. And cosine 0 means 1. So 1 minus 1 means 0. So we know it is 0 by 0 type. So of course, we will use L'Hopital's rule here to calculate. So that will be x approaches 0 here. We calculate the derivative of both up and down, x prime here. So that should be as x approaches 0, here e power x prime, also ex minus sine x, right? And then x prime here means 1 here. I figure out some students write 0 here. That is not correct. Okay, so that should be as x approaches 0, here should be ex plus sine x here. So that should be e power 0 plus sine 0 here. So it should be 1. E power 0 should be 1. So the result of question number 3 should be 1 here, 1 here. Any questions here? Okay, no questions?
No.
Okay, good. So let's turn to question number 4 and number 5. Again, I will give you some minutes to finish it. Question number 4 and question number 5. And you can also show me your procedure here. Okay, let's solve questions together. Especially for the question number 4. I figure out most of you can get the correct result, but the procedure most of you didn't write correctly. So A for the steps. Maybe for this question have 7 marks, right? This question have 7 marks, but as the procedure you have pasted in the WeChat group, maybe you can only get 2 marks for this question. Not only the result is correct, means the whole question, the whole solution is correct. So first, I want you guys to finish it by yourself, and then to make sure every step has its meaning. That is very important. So for this question, if I want to find the value of a to make the function continuous at every point x, so that means you have to know the definition of a function is continuous. And we have talked about it above here. Let me find it. Here. Here we have talked about the continuous. So, and here we have also question number 3 here. We also talked about the continuous means. That means the limit equals to the value of the function. So here for this question, if we want to solve it, first, that means the function is continuous at every point x. As we can see the function is separated by the point x equals to 3, right? So we only have to check the function is continuous at the point x equals to 3. So that means the function is continuous. So we only check the point x equals to 3 here. And if we want to check the function is continuous at this point, we have to make sure that as x approaches 3, the limit of the function equals to the value of the function at this point. So I found most of you didn't write this equation. So that means it is not correct for this question. Only the result is correct here. So you have to first calculate the limit. And the limit, you have to pay attention to the function here. When x is smaller than 3, it has an expression. And when x is larger than 3, it has another expression. So here, if we want to check if the limit exists, we have to check 2 limits. The first, that is left-hand limit. That means x approaches 3 from left. So that is left-hand limit. So that equals to, as x approaches 3 from left, that means x is smaller than 3. So that means the expression here is x squared minus 1 here. So we can substitute x equals 3 into this function to make it 9 minus 1 equals 8 here. And then the second step, we want to calculate the right-hand limit. So the right-hand limit means x is larger than 3. So the expression here, that is 2ax, right? So that should be 2a times 3. So that makes 6a. And then at the point 3, f of 3 equals If x equals 3, we know the expression is 2ax. That means 2a times 3 means 6a here. Although these two results are 6a, the same, but they stands for different meanings. So you have to write step 1, 2, 3. And then if we want the function is continuous at this point, that means the first result 8 equals the second 6a equals the third 6a here. So that means 6a equals 8, which means a equals 4/3 here. So you have to remember the procedure here, the solution here, guys. You don't have you not only have to write the result correctly, but also you have to write the procedure step by step, and every step should have the correct meaning. So I see most students write here like this: 3 squared minus 1 minus 1 equals 2a times 3, and then get a equals 4/3. So as I have told you just now, maybe you can only get 1 mark here for the result, but what it means, I don't know that. And it shouldn't write like this. So that is not correct. Here is the whole procedure for this question. So can you understand, guys? Can you understand?
Yes,
Yes, Loshi.
Okay. So,
would you please again repeat this with this part?
Okay.
So you said to write 6a.
Yeah. Okay.
First, only one time.
We can write one time, but here I want to let you know that these two 6a, although they are the same, but they stand for different meaning. The first 6a here means the right-hand limit, and 8 should be equal to the left-hand limit. That makes the limit exist. And then the second 6a means the value of the function at this point. And these two values should be same. So actually it should be 8 equals 6a. And here, this one, 8 equals 6a means the limit here should be the value here. So they stands for different meanings. Of course, you can write 1, but you should understand in your mind that they stands for different meanings here. Am I clear?
Okay, got it, Lasha. Thank you.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, no. Number 5, question number 5 here. Here we want to find dy by dx, right? And dy by dx, guys, here you should know that x is a function of t and y is a function of t. So here, if I want to find dy by dx, we have learned that you can calculate dy by dt and dx by dt. Here, dt can be cancelled, so that is also dy by dx. So here, dy by dt means t squared minus 1 prime, right? And dx by dt here, dx by dt means 2t plus 3 prime. So that equals 2t. minus 2, right? So equals t here. And I want to find dy by dx if t equals 6. And dy by dx equals t. So t equals 6 means dy by dx if t equals 6 equals 6 too. So it is the result of question number 5. Can you understand, guys? It is a simple question, right?
Yes, Lost, we got it.
Okay. So let's turn to the last two, number 6 and number 7. I will give you some minutes to finish it. Number 6 and 7. Number 6, I think we have practiced this kind of questions during the class when we learn a substitution rule here. So you can try to solve it by yourself. Number 6 and 7.
नजरां तेरे तो ना हटावा मैं আমি অবশ্যই আর এটা হচ্ছে আমার রাধা ইন্সপায়ার্ড রাধা মানে আলিয়া ভট্টের স্টুডেন্ট অফ দ্য ইয়ারের রাধা সংটাতে
Okay, let's solve these two questions together. For question number 6, I saw most of you sent the procedure of question number 6, but only one student sent the solution of question 7. So maybe you are still solving the question number 7. So now, first, let's solve question number 6. And we have protect similar questions before, so I think you will know how to solve this kind of question. First, we know here that is x power 3, and here that is x power 1. So we want they have the same power here. So the first step, I suggest to write x power 3 times 1 plus x power 3. And to make it equivalent, that here we write x power 2. So x power 2, x power 3 can be cancelled to x here, right? So they are equivalent here. I found some students write like this. At the first step, they let u be x power 3. And then here, x times 1 plus u, 1, and times here, maybe here du equals 3x power 2 dx, right? So here 1 by 3x squared du here. I do not suggest you guys to write like this because in definite integral or indefinite integral, we usually have one variable here. But here you will find that there are two variables. One is x, the other is u, right? That will make us confused here. Which is the variable you want? So for this step, I suggest you first do the changes like this. And then we can let u be x power 3. And then you will find that 3x squared dx equals du. So that means x squared dx equals 1 by 3 du, right? So that equals here 1 by u times 1 plus u, and then x squared dx makes 1 by 3 du. So I suggest you guys to write the step like this, not like this. Can you understand? Am I clear, guys?
Yes, Laoshi.
Okay, okay. So let's continue here. So we can take 1 by 3 out. Then 1 by u times 1 plus u du here. And then we want to separate this function. And 1 by u times 1 plus u can be separated to 1 by u minus 1 by 1 plus u, right? Because that is u times 1 plus u, and 1 plus u minus u here. So u can be cancelled. They are the same. So we separate it into two parts. That is 1 by 3 here, 1 by u minus 1 by 1 plus u du. So here we have to calculate two indefinite integral. The first, that is 1 by u du, and the second, that is 1 by 3, 1 by 1 plus u du here. The first part we can use the formula directly. So that is ln absolute value of u, right? And the second, here, as we have practiced many questions here, exercises here, so I will write directly here, du equals du plus 1, right? du plus 1. They all means du, right? They are the same. So here, 1 by 1 plus u, d 1 plus u, they are the same. So we can use the formula directly. So that is ln absolute value 1 plus u. Then plus c here. And the last step, that is 1 by 3 ln. We have to substitute u back. U means x power 3. Some students forget the last step to substitute u back here. So here should be x power 3 minus 1 by 3 ln 1 plus x power 3, then plus c here. And of course, you can write it together. That is 1 by 3 ln here x power 3 by 1 plus x power 3 plus c. And if here you let u be 1 plus x power 3, maybe here you will write like minus 1 by 3 ln 1 plus x power 3 by x power 3 plus c. These three steps have the same meaning, and they all can be the last step of this question. So each one is okay here for this question. So can you understand, guys? Do you have
Oh, yes,
any?
Loshi.
Okay. Do you have other questions here?
Hello, sir. I have a
No,
question.
Loshi.
Oh, okay, okay. Please.
This why we change this du to du plus 1?
Okay. Because for this step here, this step, I will write above. Okay, I will write here. The origin, that is 1 by 1 plus u, du, right? But we cannot use the formula directly because the formula, that is 1 by x dx. These two parts should be the same, then we can use the formula. So I want to make these two parts the same. And I found that du equals du plus 1 because 1 is a constant. So I can plus any constant here. They all have the same result because the derivative of the constant equals 0. It will not affect the result of the differentiate. So I will write u plus 1 here, u plus 1 here to make these two parts the same. Then I can use it directly. Or if you cannot understand it, we can use the substitution rule again. You can let t be 1 plus u. And dt equals d1 plus u equals du, right? So that will be 1 by t dt, because dt equals du here. You will find they are the same actually. They are the same actually. But here I didn't use the substitution rule. I just write u plus 1 here directly. They have the same meaning. So can you understand?
Okay, I got it, Lasha. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And do you have other questions here, guys?
Hello, she.
Okay. So let's turn to the last question of part 3 here. The last question, that is, we want to calculate the integral. And here it is a definite integral. And you find the integrand here, that is x times ln x, right? So that reminds us of using integration by parts here. So if we want to solve this question, we will use integration by parts. And if we use integration by parts here, the first step, of course, we want to choose which function to be u, right? And we have reviewed that the order how we choose the function to be u. So here, of course, we will choose ln x to be u, right? So u, that is ln x. And what is v here? A v should be
Square by 2.
yeah. So here you should know that x dx equals d what? So how to find this part to be v? I remember that we used the formula directly. So here means x power 1, right? We want to find its antiderivative. So we can use the formula 1 by 1 plus 1, x power 1 plus 1 here to find an antiderivative here. So that is x squared by 2 here. So we know we have changed it to ln x d x squared by 2 here. So this is the first step. We want to use integration by parts. We want to find u, that is obvious, and v here to be x squared by 2. So for this step, do you have any questions? This is a very important step. Then we can use integration by parts. Do you have any questions here?
No, sure. We just changed this equation just to this one, and after that we just submit it into the integer here, like after that.
You mean you let x squared by 2 be v, right?
Oh, okay. And after that, okay, I got it.
Okay.
Sorry, Laoshi.
Doesn't matter. Or here, if you feel that 1 by 2, the constant 1 by 2 here, that is not clear, you guys can take the constant 1 by 2 out here, outside here. That is also okay. So here I just from the steps here to find v, and then we can use integration by parts. So here it is u and it is v, right? So we use integration by parts. The first, that is u times v. So here I will write u times v. Sorry. I will write the function directly. So that is ln x times x squared by 2 from 1 to e, right? And minus from 1 to e, we exchange the places of u and v here. Okay, so the substitution, the integration by parts means from A to B, U dV equals U times V from A to B minus, we exchange the places of UV here. So this is the formula here. And we have substitute E first. We have to substitute E first. So that is ln E times E squared by 2. And then minus, we substitute 1 here. That is ln 1 times 1 by 2, right? This is the result of first part. And then we minus here from 1 to E, x squared by 2 times d ln x. d ln x equals ln x squared dx, right? So that should be 1 by x dx. So here we times 1 by x dx. And of course, x can be cancelled. Here, that is x by 2, right? And that should be next step here. Ln E equals 1. So the first, that is E squared by 2. And ln 1 equals 0. So this part is 0. I will not write it. And then this part, x by 2, from the formula, we calculate the definite integral. That should be 1 by 2 times here 1 by 2 x squared, and then from 1 to E, right? So that equals E squared by 2 minus here 1 by 4 E squared and plus 1 by 4. So the final result should be 1 by 4 E squared plus 1 by 4 here. Okay, sorry, because the space is limited, so maybe you cannot see it clear, but you can see the steps clear here. I will show you. Here is the steps. It is more clear. First, we found x squared. Here, I just take 1 by 2 out the integral sign here. So it is actually the same as I was writing just now. So do you have any questions here? Or you want me to explain it again? Any questions here? No questions, guys?
Oh, no.
Okay, good. So let's come to the last part here. So part 4, please calculate these 2 questions. They are applied problems. And then we will solve it together for the last 2 questions. Okay, for the question in the dialog box, here, that is not confidential information. The final exam paper has the same amount of questions as this test paper. So that means the marks assigned here, that is the same as the final paper. Am I clear? So on the final paper, we have 4 parts, and every part we have several questions. The amount of the questions that is the same as here. So for example, part 4, in the final exam, that is also applied problems, and we also have 2 questions here. Am I clear?
Yes, yes, no, sure.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay. But I cannot
just,
tell you the questions on the final paper.
yeah.
Okay. So we will solve the last 2 questions here. I think these 2 questions, they are not very difficult here. So for question 1 here, that is 7 marks. So find the critical points of the function and identify the intervals here on which f is increasing or decreasing. Here, the first, if you want to find critical points of this function, as we have learned, that is, we first have the derivative of this function, right? So first we have to know f prime here, that is 3x squared minus 12. So that means 3 times x squared minus 4. And that means 3 times x minus 2 times x plus 2 here. This is the first step. And then we let f prime x equals to 0. To solve this equation, then we know, of course, x equals to 2, x sub 1 equals to 2, and x sub 2 equals to minus 2 here, right? So here, you can write a table here to make it clear. So as we have drawn the table during the class, actually, the first should be the intervals. So the intervals should be from minus infinity to minus 2, and then minus 2. Then from minus 2 to 2, and then 2. The last part from 2 to positive infinity here. So first, that is intervals. The second, you should find the sign of the function f. So here, of course, if we substitute x equals to 2 here, that means it should be 0 here, right? Sorry, 1 minute. So here, you should know here is 0. Okay, f prime here, 0, right? And you should know the sign of f prime here, how to find it. Remember that you can find a special number and substitute it into this function. For example, from minus infinity to minus 2, maybe you can take minus 3 here. And of course, if you substitute minus 3 into this function f prime, that will be positive, right? And for this interval, you can take 0 here, because 0 is in the interval from minus 2 to 2, right? So you can find that is minus here. And same here, that is positive. So you can know the behavior of the function f, that is the first interval that is increasing because positive here. 0 and then decreasing and then increasing. So for this question, the increasing intervals should be from -infinity to -2 and the interval 2 to positive infinity here. And decreasing interval should be from -2 to 2, this part. So that is the solution for question number 1. Can you understand, guys?
Yes, Lord.
Okay. And the last question here. Find the area of the region enclosed by y equals x power 4 and y equals 8x. On the final paper.
Lausha, I have a question.
Oh, okay.
For the question number 7, do we have to draw the graph?
Question number 7. Which one?
I mean the previous one. No.
First one. The first question.
Yes, the first one. Yes.
Okay. So where you did not understand? You can show on
No,
the.
I mean, do I have to display it on the graph? Do I have to draw the graph?
You have to write the increasing interval and decreasing interval. Here, you have to list it, but you don't have to draw the graph here.
No, I mean to show the local minima or local maxima.
No. If that is not required in the question here, you don't have to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, for this question, first, I will also show the graph for you as here. So you don't have to be afraid of drawing the graph. And second, if you want to find the area, you have to know the area actually is this part, right? Enclosed by these two functions. So here you have to know these 2 points that we can know the regions run from which point to which point, right? That means the lower limit and the upper limit of the definite integral. So first, you have to calculate these 2 points. That means you have to solve y equals x power 4 and y equals 8x to find the common points here for these two functions. So that means x power 4 minus 8x equals 0, right? So that means x times x power 3 minus 8 equals to 0. So that is x1 equals 0, x2 equals 2, right? So we have that the area equals, it's a definite integral from 0 to 2. Remember, first we write the upper function. The upper function is the line here, 8x. Then minus the lower function. So the lower function, that is x power 4 here, dx. And I think for you to calculate this definite integral, that is not hard, right? We just use the formula. The first part from the formula, that should be 8 times 1 by 2 x squared. And second part from the formula should be 1 by 5 x power 5. And then don't forget to substitute from the lower limit 0 to upper limit 2 here. So we can find the final result, that is 48 by 5 here. 48 by 5 here. So that is the whole solution for question number 2. So do you have any questions here? Can you understand?
Could you please repeat again? Could you please repeat again question number 2?
Yes, which part?
Wait.
Can you understand? First, we have to find the lower limit and the upper limit. by put these two equations together, right? Because these two functions pass both 2 points here, right? So we can first get 2 points, x equals 0 and x equals 2 here. That is the lower limit and upper limit. And then the area here actually means we have explained last week. That is, we have to use the upper line. The upper line you can see from the graph to check which is always above, and that is the line 8x, and then minus x power 4 here. And the formula for the area here, you can check the notes last week. And we have write it like from A to B, fx minus gx dx means the area between these two functions. And then we calculate the definite integral here. Can you understand a little bit more?
Okay, let's say that.
不是老师。
Other questions here?
没有老师。
Okay. Okay, so that is all for our class, and let me open the camera here. Okay, so that is all for our class and all for our course, all for our semester here. So thank you all guys for cooperation for this whole semester, and wish you guys have good luck at the final exam. Okay, guys?
Thank you,老师。
Thank you very much.
If you have any questions, you can still ask me before the final exam, and we can discuss here. Okay?
OK，老师。
OK，老师。
Okay. So good luck, guys. Bye.
再见，老师。
拜拜，
再见，老师，拜拜。
谢谢，再见，老师。
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you.
再见，老师。
再见，老师。
再见.
Wow, last time we have see you.
Bye.